Okay, hello and welcome back to another My Team episode. This episode, you join me for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. It is the second race, and we currently have 0 points in the championship due to our MG UK imploding on itself, which is fun. You love it when that happens on the first race, when you're on track to get high points. But it happens, you know. Especially with the new power unit, it's bound to happen. But it finally happened to me. Normally it happens to my teammate. But I'm kind of glad it happened to me, because it proves that it does happen. Anyways, we're going to get into this one. It was wet qualifying, which is somewhat good for me. I have a pretty good strategy when it comes to wet, which is literally just set a good couple of laps. Because you don't need to worry about tyres, because you don't start on those tyres. Even if you finish in the top 10, you don't start on them. And I don't know actually what happens if you have a wet qualifying and a wet race. I'm not too sure on that. But I'm showing you an extended version of the qualifying lap then, just because I was pretty proud of it. Using the Fernando Alonso technique there to hard turn in and out of that chicane, setting a purple sector 1 and a green sector 2 as we come into the final two corners, the two left-handers. Two pretty slow corners. I'm still not too sure how to do it properly, but we move. Improving a lot then.
Excellent lap. We're really pleased.
And that's our pole lap. Improved a lot, eh? Yeah.
Hello there and welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters in red today. They've all turned out for what we have every expectation of being a sensational event here at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. 3.1 miles of track here at Imola, featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula One circuits as it's driven anti-clockwise. Let's hope no one forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight of the circuit and its only DRS zone. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Can I get your take on Haas? We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
It doesn't look promising for them so far. And if the new regs have hit them as hard as we think, well, I suspect they may need a few late nights at the factory to get back on track.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Reed lines up on pole position, and talented Spaniard Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Leclerc, Tsunoda, Bottas, Norris and Kimi Räikkönen, Perez, Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon and Giovinazzi, Russell, Mick Schumacher, Nobuharu Matsushita and Lance Stroll, Tigtum, Aitken, Latifi and Nikita Mazepin. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Alright then. We're going to go for this one-stop soft to hard, but I have a feeling we'll extend these softs a lap or two, maybe 3 or 4 laps, probably 3 or 4 at the max, and we'll end up going onto the mediums. However, I did just a random Grand Prix here, just as a bit of fun by myself, and there seems to be a possible tyre wear glitch. Because I did a 5-lap race and I had 40% used tyres by the end of it. So, I'm not too sure whether that's a track or my game. I've been messing around with a couple of mods recently just to have a bit of fun on my own. You know, because although I make content on the games, I just want to play it for fun sometimes. I'm wondering maybe I've messed up one of the files or left one in. So I'm going to have a look at that. Probably do a fresh install after this video. We'll have to see. Because there might be an issue with tyre wear. We'll have to see if we can handle it. The AI won't. They'll be pitting constantly. But it's fine. We live. Without further ado, to 5 red lights. We are underway for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix with a pretty good start there. To our right, we have Carlos Sainz in that Santander Ferrari. He gets a move on the outside of us into turn 1. We're going to also have Verstappen on our right. Sainz locks up into turn 1, and we manage to go past on the inside to get past back up into P1. Sainz in P2, Verstappen P3, and our teammate Gasly in P4. Very nicely done. We managed to keep our position and not really far behind our opponents, which is good. End of lap 1 then into the chicane. Virtual safety car deployed. I'm not too sure why it's been deployed. I had a look through the replays and I couldn't find anything. Probably just a couple of light taps that have left some debris everywhere. But midway through lap 2, we are back to green racing. Obviously in VSC conditions, you don't gain any time on anyone normally, unless they're just really bad at keeping it. But we've skipped ahead to lap 4 then. Gasly has gotten behind us. He is 0.4 seconds behind us into the chicane we're going to go. He's going to be there. Verstappen on his rear, trying to gain as much time on his people as possible. DRS is obviously enabled. Lap 6 then we've skipped ahead to. Verstappen has DRS on us. Pierre has her pit. Sonoda also almost going 3 wide into turn 1. Little tap there with Verstappen. Not sure whose fault that's on, but I think it's his. We go into the chicane, barely ahead, but we managed to keep the position. Sonoda in P2. AlphaTauri have been outperforming everyone's expectations this season, more than possible. Apparently it says on my screen that everyone's in the pits. No one's in the pits, but we're going into the pits on lap 13 for our set of mediums. I decided to take that gamble and try the set of mediums. If it doesn't work out, because I have checked, there is this tyre wear issue. My softs are very worn. My mediums will get very worn. But I need that extra time, because if we're going to have to go for another pit stop, I want to get the advantage on the people that went for the hards, and we'll probably either not get another pit stop or pit a lot later into a race. But we'll have to see. Lap 14 then, everyone else is pitting who hasn't yet, so we're going to have a rush for the pit exit to try and get out ahead of everyone else. We get out ahead of Lando Norris, and we will be in P2 behind Pierre, who has done his pit stop onto a set of softs, but he will have to pit again indefinitely. It's the law. Talking of him pitting again, he's in the pits. On lap 16 to 17, he's going to pit for a set of mediums. He's going to fall nice and far behind, which sounds bad, but he will be a championship rival this season, because he has joined us for the majority of the season. Lando Norris having engine issues then on lap 18. He's going to be out of the session. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, Pierre obviously not joining us mid-season this time at the start. He'll be in a championship fighting car the whole time, which is, I mean, good, because it means the Constructors is going to be a lot easier to get than last time. But it does also mean that I will be battling my teammate, which is not always good. But yeah, we've skipped ahead to lap 23 then. Matsushita has been lapped behind us. Lewis Hamilton pitting them from his set of mediums, which shows that there is a tyre wear issue, and I am going to have to get that sorted, but it's a bit too late in the race to restart now. I will lose my mind. Lap 27, 5 more laps to go. We're in the final 5, or 5.5, but that's not the point. And I'm starting to feel the grip getting lost, and I'm just waiting for that little icon in the bottom right to show that my tyres are gone. And talking of tyres being gone, lap 31 we've skipped to, our tyres are worn, puncture in the rear left. One of the Alfa Romeos goes for a move on the inside of us to unlap himself as we get sent flying off the track with that puncture. Look at that. I'm not even going to have to fake the thumbnail. I could just screenshot that shit. And I've already got the bloody thumbnail. We're doing a little bit of a cheeky drift here. I didn't mean to, but that's pretty sick. That was pretty sick. But yeah, 31 then. Perez obviously gaining really quickly. It's going to be a close final lap if I want to get this win. there's no guarantee that no one else is going to be pitting again with this soft set of tyres on for most people. We're going to go into the pits. We're going to skip ahead the pit into the pit lane because we're going at like 36 kilometers an hour. Everyone's in the pits. This shows how much of an issue there has been. We got held up a little bit there by that Alpine. I'm assuming that's Esteban Ocon. I can't be too sure. And on lap 32 then we're released from the pit limiter. We're out of the pits, approaching back markers of Jack Aiken. And ahead of us is P1, is Charles Leclerc. If we can get past him, he does have tyre wear issues. I can see how slow he's going. We're going to go for an inside move into turn 4 or 5. I don't know what turn this is. I don't have to track map up like I normally do. On the final lap then, the penultimate corners, there is 2 yellow flags. One for a Ferrari of Charles Leclerc and one for the Haas of Nicholas Latifi. I'm not sure what's happened, probably spinning or punctures or something. An eventful race to say the least. And we've managed...
Fantastic. You've won the Grand Prix.
...to come out victorious. You may say I cheated. I didn't, man. I didn't mean to have these mods enabled. I only figured it out 30 laps in. I do this commentary afterwards. So, you know, it's not live. I didn't know it was a thing at the time. If I did, I would have restarted, but it was way too late for me to restart. Because, you know, I got school, I got sixth form to go to. I can't be redoing a 45-minute race. I'd lose my mind. So, I'll get that issue sorted for Monaco. Because it's fucking Monaco. Oh. I really need to get that sorted for Monaco then, eh? But yeah, still a little bit ill. Managing to get on the top step, followed by Perez and Ricciardo. Very interesting indeed. Everyone seems to be in a good car other than the bottom 5. We've got McLaren, Red Bull, us, Mercedes and Ferrari, all in very similar cars. I'm going to put the R&D chart up at the end of this video. Just to show you like how good it is. We managed to win with 25 points, Pierre getting 9, so not too shabby indeed. Alright, R&D then. As you can see, most teams, 5 teams, 6 teams in fact, up in the top, available for podiums and wins. And then there's Alpine, Alfa Romeo, Williams, Aston Martin and Haas, as always. So yeah, R&D chart for the people that wanted it. Thank you for watching this one. As you can see, the next race is Monaco. I can't promise a long video from it. I only keep Monaco because it's Monaco. I hate the track. I despise it. Every time I race it, I end up in a worse mental state. But Monaco, so see you then.